Pledge. Pledge allegiance
allegiance
to the flag, of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let's start out by reminding everyone, Robert's Rules of Order will apply to most of our meeting. Be pretty casual agenda. We'll have a public comment period available. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes. And then finally, this meeting is being recorded for minute purposes. But with that, let's go to our standing committee reports. Start with the lease negotiation and real estate committee, Mr. Trump, Rhodes, and Krimmel. Anything to report, guys? Go by one. Everybody can.
I know, me and Bob.
All right.
And just kind of went over, I guess, just what objectives and goals out there, but kind of came up with what our game plan would be once we have, green light to go do it.
So you have a plan?
Well, that's a vague term, let's say. I mean, for now, we can't really do anything until we know what's going to happen with the maintenance building. So we felt if you go out and try and market the property without being able to actually enter into anything anytime soon, we kind of on a hold. I think it'd be more appealing when we can go to somebody and say, hey, it's open, it's ready, and be able to sign something to get them in there rather than tell them, well, we have to wait until we figure out what we're doing with the maintenance building.
I mean, I agree with you. The only thing is that, we can probably move a little quicker than when the building's out of there, but we gotta have financing aligned or in place. And I guess we need some plans and things to know a good estimate when the building would be done. I don't think we have to wait till all that is finished.
Well, right, yeah, I mean, as soon as we have a timeline, but right now we're
Yeah,
waiting on
that's the big
grants
thing
and
we need,
everything
a
else to,
timeline too.
yeah.
To start figuring out like we talked about getting a real estate group to market it and, have some discussions with them on
I just think right now, if we were
current
gonna,
values and things.
to hire a real estate group to look at it now is, I don't think it's a good use of money immediately when we don't have a timeline that we can give any tenant that would want, or potential tenant.
Right.
And then we were talking too, they're gonna be building all kinds of houses across the street too. So even if we get within a year or two, that market or call it suitor that would want that spot might change a little bit when you see, a development or whatnot come in.
Might even become more valuable.
Yes.
Well, that's what we talked about that too. Yeah, it could be more valuable to certain, to a certain demographic than another, but.
And certain needs might become more evident
Right.
that would be likely to go there or, desired to be there.
So,
Just the only thing in my thought process is there any need to be ready to go with a demolition? Should we look at, when it comes time, who would do it, how they do it? Again, recognizing this isn't going to be the next 6 months or 7 months, surely, but any issues that we might have with the demolition, any, things like, there's a main power line under the building, or I don't know, something like that.
I'm going to defer to Cindy. How much site work has been done? Did David Miller do anything?
In terms of the new site or the old site?
The new site, well, where the maintenance shed is now.
No. I mean, it's too early to decide those things. And to tear down a building is not going to be that big of
Well,
a
no,
deal.
we don't want to tear it down, but Tom asked,
Prepping to
are
tear
the
it down.
utilities located in that area?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Both water and sewer and, well, all the utilities are there, which are all going to be moved to Church Street for the pro shop.
I have one question. is the assumption that the development of that area is going to generate positive cash flow? Because when we look at least when I look at the pro shop and you start talking $1.5 million or even more, how do you fund that? I mean, I look at the last 3 years and we average about $70,000 a year. And that's going to be hard to,
Well, that's in another committee.
well, but the point is you need the cash before you can start.
Oh, yeah,
talking about
absolutely.
Replacing the pro shop and know that you can fund it properly.
Yeah, but that's another pot. You know, we're talking about moving the maintenance shed,
Oh, no, I understand.
and the pro shop should come before that if possible.
Well, but my concern is how do you pay for the pro shop?
Well, it's not our committee.
That's the.
It's
the
the
concern I have
operations
looking at the
committee.
I think
numbers.
some of the money in the pro shop is the cost that we have upcoming for repairs and maintenance of the current structure. So some of that, goes away, which are major repairs. But yes, I don't disagree. We, still need to be able to fund or pay back a loan.
Well, that'll be part of the project,
Right.
but I think we need a new pro shop. I think preparing for a new pro shop is appropriate. Even if we don't start building a new pro shop right away, and we need more time to get our funding together, perhaps for a season, you have to work out of a trailer or something like that until we get everything lined up. I think there's a lot we could do, but I think we're on the right track here with, having a design for the pro shop, something that we want to do. And then we don't even have to put it out for bid right now, but at least we've got a general plan of what we need to do in the future. And, which leads me to another question. Do we want to take the pro shop down before we have to put money into it?
How much money is required at this point?
To take it down?
No, just to maintain it until you take it down.
Well,
I feel like we were looking at something close to 200,000 for the roof.
I didn't think it was that high. I thought it was like 60 or 70.
I mean, but
Never
part of
priced it out, so I'm not sure. But all these questions, I mean, at this point, you're spending $25,000 on a design of a pro shop and to get a contractor's estimate. And then at that point, if you decide to move forward, then all these questions will also be asked. But at this point, you don't know how much it's going to cost. You're just really looking at the design. And you might shelve the design for several years and come back to it. It's possible that you determine you can't afford it. And then all these processes and which comes first will all be addressed when you say, yes, we're moving forward.
Okay.
We can operate right now with the exception of the roof on the barn, which probably is going to need repairs in, right now, probably 5 or 6 years. And we thought 60,000, but it could be certainly higher than that. I have no idea.
Well, hasn't the administration gotten a price for the roof?
No,
I think, it was a good question to answer, but,
I have to ask everyone to kind of talk to your microphones
Oh, yeah.
because the
well,
people on the line can't hear you.
Just listening and kind of being new, we don't have a plan yet on how to proceed. It sounds pretty obvious to me. We don't really know that yet. And I think we should determine that tonight.
Well, we do have a plan. It's to
But
design a
we don't
program.
have numbers. We don't know when we're going to get funding and things like that. And that's why I kind of asked for the meeting the other day so that I could kind of catch up and understand where we were at. And, we're asking questions, and I'm not blaming anybody. I think it's partially the board's fault, including me, that we don't have a good understanding of what we need to do, going like step by step. What's the most critical thing we have to do first to start this to get this plan started?
Well, I think we've had those discussions and the most critical thing is getting a price for a new pro shop. if we determine
But
we
we're
can't
working
afford,
on that. You have sketches you sent out from Cornerstone, right?
if we can't afford it, then we have to go to Plan B and decide what that is.
Okay.
Yes, the end result of the pro shop design work will be a contractor's estimate of what that would cost.
But aren't we moving to get that?
Yes,
Yeah, we know
mid-April.
what it is now. They're at $300 a square foot. It's about $1 million. At 4,660 feet, it's probably about $1.4 million.
Yeah, I
Plus-
saw
plus
that
demolition.
last meeting. I
Yeah.
believe that was brought up or in some email that came out.
But my concern is looking at the revenue stream that we have currently, how do you pay for that? You can't.
I mean, I've
that's-
known that for 15 years. The golf course can't support capital projects. Really. You know, they can buy a mower, they can buy sand and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But when you come to hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, the revenue is not going to be there.
So from our,
And we're very lucky, as we talked about at the committee, that blue collar is generating, a lot more money, for us as a revenue stream. A couple other things happened when they came in to take over, but you're just not going to be able to generate enough money to pay a capital project unless you fund it for 20, 25 years and cross your fingers, the weather's going to hold up from year to year and you get a lot of play. I mean, you lose 8, 10 weekends of golf, that's a big hit. So, I mean, to me, it's been obvious, maybe we have some money to put down on it, but we're going to have to borrow money.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I just didn't understand the development along Stony Battery, if that was going to be generating cash flow. And if it does, is that going to help support redoing the pro shop?
That's what.
I think that was our thoughts when we first set up the Recreation Authority to come up with a good use for the land that would generate some income to accomplish, the major projects we want to take on. Or the board wants to take on, maybe not us, but the board.
One of the things that I think we should try to establish is just what revenue golf operations brings in. Generally, thinking out loud, it's whatever we bring in, less whatever the Verizon Tower brings in and blue collar brings in. Am I looking at that properly?
Mhm.
So if we can keep the revenue on the golf, and I hear what you're saying, Bob, about weather, and you can't count on great years every year. But if we can keep the golf operations orderly and under control and have a handle on them, frankly, blue collar revenue would pay for a new pro shop on a monthly basis. We've got about $500,000 in our capital reserve right now. That theoretically, I'm not saying it does, but theoretically it could go towards a new pro shop. Blue collar brings in about 100,000 a year. Certainly we could finance 800,000 or 900,000 if we had to, with the help of the Board of Supervisors, with the help of over a 10-year period. So, Jen, I don't know, does that sound doable, Bob?
Yeah, I just caution you not to put all that money that's in reserve right now to have a cushion when we do have a bad year or two. I mean, you need to have a surplus, just like the borough, the township does, they have 3 or 4 months operating.
Sure.
And I think the golf course definitely should have that much heat too.
I do too. I agree 100%.
I mean, I looked at the budget, okay, back in November, and this includes the 96,000 from blue collar. Okay, so.
John, if I could have you talk into the microphone.
$75,000
Or move it
for
further.
2023. 230 for 2024 projected. And I'm not sure where it came in at. And then $8,000 for this year. So you're averaging out like $70,000 a year profit. And that includes the 96,000. And like I said, if you're at like $1.4 million plus 200,000 a demo, you know, you're still at like 100, almost 150,000 bucks a year for the new pro shop. And that's why I wondered if the development of that land is going to be profitable to offset that 150.
I think that's a goal we should try to achieve, is put something there that does generate revenue, does support the community, or, you know, at least is, you know, used by the community. Yeah, I can't see just opening up more recreation that, you know, we're going to take care of the grounds and maintenance I just think it has to have a revenue stream attached to it.
I just want to make one comment. I think in the budget every year, we do have a $200,000 to $400,000 allocation to capital maintenance to fund that every year. I think we had that as a line item going forward.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's okay.
We can take a deeper look into that too, though, because you have some expenses that are coming off the books, like the golf carts are coming off the books this year. So there's no, you know, that's a $200-some thousand payment that we make every year.
Well, my purpose for bringing that up is, you know, we have cash, not enough, but we have a capital maintenance budget with a brand new pro shop. My guess is that we could cut that down substantially, considering everything would be brand new. So you're not talking HVAC, you're not talking roof, anything on that new building, you know, outside of, you know, some sort of catastrophe. But the rest would be strictly for the grounds or something on blue collar. So if I look at just from a budget standpoint, if we have that built in, you know, we could lower that, and whatever our debt financing cost is, I'm guessing would be less than what that is, depending on what we would put down. But as far as the finance and operations committee, if we're just jumping into the new pro shop, our task was to get answers to a lot of the questions that you're asking. We are on step one of finding a lot of the answers to those questions as far as cost, you know, timing, everything right now until we get a plan in place and, you know, get some sort of contractor to give us bid estimates. It could be a $3 million project. At that point, we just say, I don't think we want to do that, or we want to invest the capital. So I would just say, let us work through the committee and with Cornerstone, and then continue that process with bidding, and then we can have a much more detailed discussion about what we want to do or not do with the
Good.
pro shop. So
And to your point, we might have to just stop right there, or we can move forward. Again, maybe not right away, but on some type of a timeline. Okay. Okay. And again, looking at Finance and Operations Committee, the Barnage Pro Shop project. Mr. Lounsbury, Mr. Lundy, and Mr. Enoch.
we had a meeting last week. I was only there for half of it, but I think those that were there for the full, if you have any perspective to give, it was mostly tweaks and things to different designs, at least for the part that I was on.
Yeah, I'd sent you what he sent me today. Hopefully you'll be able to open that. It's a Dropbox link. It gives you a basic design, which I think you've seen before. I don't think there's anything new in terms of the outside appearance. That's not what I want. He did give us some renderings on the inside about how that might look with, he put some of the fixtures in that he thought we might need. But that would not be part of the contract build price. That would be outside. Probably not gonna work. Let me see. Yeah. So this is, the first one was the entrance between the banquet and the new building comes in here. Of course, the area there for the counter. Sales. There's another entrance over here, which is, I think, looking out at the 10th tee. This is where you go back to the offices. This goes back to the restrooms. They do have visual from to the 10th tee, the 9th tee, and I think the 18th almost. And you see the corner of the banquet building there. 18th tee is out here. 9th tee, I think, is in here somewhere. Or first tee. I get confused. So at the last meeting, we talked about some general flooring ideas, some exterior colors, all in anticipation of them coming back to us in mid-April with a contractor's cost estimate. And that would conclude their contract at that point, and then we would move forward from there.
Do you have any of the renderings outside?
Uh,
That's what's going to be out front, right, Cindy? There's high rises.
Yep,
That's all in there for
Condos.
million four.
There's some money for you.
thought I had this queued up, but it's not working, so I can.
You're asking for like photos like this for the outside.
Oh, yeah, and they're
Oh,
there.
they're there, yeah.
They're
Oh.
there. She has them. It's just, you have to find them. There's a lot of them.
Yeah,
It
there's-
goes through. It looks really good.
Hmm.
You know, it's top of the line.
Yeah, I mean, I personally like the design a lot. But I do have a did you see any other type of design? Or this was just the one that they proposed?
This is what they came up with.
Okay.
So we didn't go back and say, hey, let's cut the cost by whatever, you know. But basically, they're at $250 to $300 a square foot. You know, you got your prevailing wage in there and stuff, so it's a little bit on the expensive side.
Okay,
It was the top attachment. The one that says exterior.
so they're currently gonna give us a rough estimate at this point? You have another meeting scheduled?
Well, they've already given us some. I mean, we've got a square foot cost and we know what the size is. We made some modifications. I think it's down to what, 4,600 and some square feet or whatever from 5,000. They changed the maintenance room around, so it's a little more cost effective with the way you run the electric and all the air and everything else. And then they have the, you know, the exterior, interior options that they went through.
The existing ones, that's not what I'm looking for. Existing contracts. This is the one he really
Yeah,
liked.
they're inside there.
So that's facing the parking lot.
Yes.
It's facing the greens golf course. The space between.
So will the design of the building sit closer to the golf course?
Yes.
It appears that way, just,
Which is how you get that line of sight. This is the exterior to the restrooms and then the main entrance.
Drop off.
and court storage will be where it is now.
Mhm.
They're gonna make a door like right here. So they can pull through.
Revised, but you can see some of the stuff that's going on there.
The logo will probably go in this space.
Sit down, Bob. I'm not walking that way. They make that. So, yeah, it's not good. Looks fun.
I think we could say that on.
Yeah,
I mean, everything is done very.
yeah.
And it's space to heat and everything.
Mhm.
So it looks like we're, moving along. Just keep the authority updated on progress and any timelines that we might be on. And, we'll go from there. Next up, we have the maintenance facility that we talked a little bit about earlier. Part of the issue with the maintenance facility where it is, we've got to build a new one somewhere. I think we picked out the spot for that. It would be my preference, I think, that from a design standpoint, if we can, make the design similar to something like this. If we can. Maybe using the same materials, maybe it's a different style, but have some unity between the
Mhm.
maintenance facility and the pro shop. We have signed the contract with GSL. We shortly will be beginning the process with them. At least I'm hopeful that we'll be able to begin the process with them. There will be a meeting at some point with them.
Well, at this point, they're gathering information. I got their checklist. I've got it almost completed. That'll get submitted back to them. They'll start preparing the information that they know they will need when the RCAP funding becomes open. That has not been opened yet. It's up to the governor. And if he chooses not to open it, then there is no funding for RCAP. So there is no timeline really. It's just a process that they have to move forward with when the time's right.
So they've gotten everything that we need. And that's where the money's coming from for all this.
That was the plan all along, yes. It's the only one that can give us that amount of dollars,
And we're looking for about how much?
4 million. The project on the Church and Knoll Road as of October of last year, that project cost was 6.6 based on the master plan. And we're seeking,
But that did not include the building, did it?
yes, it
It
did.
did.
Yes, the building was listed out at 1.2 or 3
Okay.
on that estimate.
So. And we're asking them for an RCAP of 4.
Yes. Unless they tell us differently, GSL. Because what I'm giving them is the full set of numbers.
Which is 6,
Yes,
6.2, I think, or something like that.
yes.
Okay, well, let's hope for the big number.
I'm sure there's going to have to be a discussion then at some point down the road, what contribution will be from the rec authority versus what the township will do, just for that maintenance building.
Well, again, we do have some money to put towards that, if that's how we wanted to dedicate it. To get 4 million or 6 million, if we've got to use capital reserve funds, we can do that, right?
We have capital reserve funds earmarked for the finder's fee for that 4 million, yes.
Right, okay. Any questions about that from anyone? Okay, next up, budget reports. Any questions, comments about our budget? My only comment is that we're off to a little bit of a slow start here from a golf revenue standpoint. We're looking at about $28,000 year to date, in 25. We had 8,200 in February. No, I'm sorry, 23,000 in February and about 8,000, I believe, in actually 7,000 in January. So got some ground to make up versus prior year. And again, weather's been a big issue there, and I know that. Okay, so that's that. On the invoices payable, we have $60,000 down here for the township. Is that what 1 month's salary and benefits?
The salaries are about 44. The other is for the administrative costs, where it takes in part of Joe Vosnock, it takes in part of myself, part of Cindy, what the golf has paid to the township. That is now a responsibility.
So this is for the first quarter. $18,000. And is that for the month or for the quarter?
Quarter.
So $60,000 a quarter is what?
You know, the 44 would be the reimbursement for the employees.
That's a reimbursement for the quarter.
But the 44 is the total, excuse me, the employment portion is about 30, and the rest would be, from what I can tell on this, I don't have the,
Well, I have the detail, just this month. $60,462 is the total paid back to East Hempfield Township from the Recreation Authority.
the 16,377.
Right,
Is the quarter amount for the admin fee. The rest is the reimbursement of the employment and the
Okay.
cost of
for
employment.
the quarter or just for the month of March?
But that is just for the month of February. The March payment pays for the month of February.
Okay,
So the admin fee is the only thing that is quarterly.
Yes.
Everything else is monthly.
thank you.
So yeah, so 44,000-ish a month is what we're paying back in wages and health life and all that stuff.
Okay. Any questions from anyone on the finance report? Okay, with that, I'll hear a motion to accept and approve the finance report February 2nd through March the 26th.
I'll make the motion.
A motion from Mr. Lounsbury,
Second.
second from Mr. Enoch. Motion from Mr. Lounsbury, second from Mr. Enoch. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Anyone want to comment on the capital or trial balance? Not really. Hearing none, we'll move on to the Course Operations Committee, Lundy, Enoch, and Rhodes. This is new. This is something we established the last meeting. Did you even have an opportunity to meet with?
We have not yet had a committee meeting, so we have no report to provide.
All right, so we have no report on that. Thank you. Then we have, actually, we approved the cash requirement report, right? And not at the, on the old business, golf update, is Jim around? Jim?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, anything, on the horizon from a golf standpoint, anything we should know about? I assume you've figured out your pricing schedule for this year?
Yes, we got the pricing set for the year that goes in effect on Friday. I can send over the CMA that I did, course comparison. And we're just starting to bring staff on slowly as we ramp up here for the season.
Okay, good. Are rates going up?
Yeah, the biggest jump is going to be on the weekend mornings. We're going up $5.
Okay. Good. Any comment from anyone on this?
No?
I just had a question, Jim. What will that bring the rate to ride on a weekend morning?
It'll be 65 for non-resident.
And the resident will be,
They get the 10% off the green fee.
okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. Kubota tractor purchase?
Just want to point out to the rec authority that you had authorized this purchase in your 2025 budget. Don has gotten pricing. He intends to trade in the existing Kubota, which is a 2014, for about $7,000. So the net is $30,008, $30,009 within your budget numbers.
Okay. So it's all accounted for. We're in good shape.
The other thing that is not accounted for, but was just brought to my attention by Don, is that our irrigation system is 30 years old, has a 30-year lifespan. It's operational, but we have to start thinking about a possible replacing it. He says he has at least 2 golf courses in the area that have done that recently. And so he just wanted to get it on the horizon, that it's out there.
I just know from other clubs that have done this, the price for a new irrigation system, I mean, you're getting, at least from what I know about it, it could be as much as a new pro shop.
Yes.
So just from a budgeting standpoint.
We have gotten pricing that others have spent, about 1.2, 1.5. The number of heads that we have are less than most courses because our heads run down the middle of the fairway, whereas the other courses have 2 on each side. So there's a little savings there. So it probably won't be as high, but yeah, you're talking a couple 100,000. Closer to $1 million than,
And
Yeah.
not,
yes.
Okay, well, that's something you can scout out for us.
Cindy, what are your thoughts as far as when we're gonna get some kind of preliminary cost estimate to replace the irrigation system? We're gonna try to get it this year or next year, or just a budget number?
I don't think it's that. Don is working on it based on what he knows from the other courses.
Okay,
And get a projection because that one of them is Overlook, which is a public course. So the pricing will be comparable based on probably what they spent divided by the number of heads times the number of heads we have.
Okay,
The number of heads they had was just over 800, and we have about 300. So there is a difference there. So he's gathering information. Everything is functioning now, I believe. I don't, Don, if you're there, if you could kind of comment on that. I think repairs have been made throughout the years. They're starting to be more frequent, but we're still okay. But we have to think about replacing.
okay.
Yes, Cindy, I'd agree with that. We're always making repairs. I mean, that's just part of the process. But if the whole system decides to go, then we're in big trouble. So I just wanted to let everybody know we're kind of we're getting farther along in the life cycle of this system. So I don't know how long it takes for the process to start from beginning to end. So I just wanted to put it out there and make everybody aware that it's in the horizon.
And we definitely want to plan for it. We don't want to be surprised. So he'll get some numbers and he'll get some ideas and we'll come back to you.
I had a question. Don, will that include pumps, motors, things like that?
Yeah, that'll be the entire system. Yep.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay.
Don, I got one more question. Where is all that stuff housed at right now? Is it in the maintenance building or is it in the main building?
No, it's out sort of by the cell tower at that end of the course. There's a pond out there. That's the irrigation pond, and the pump house is right there.
Everything. Okay.
Do you know if they'd have to rip up the course?
That I don't know if they can kind of tunnel it underground or if they still trench down the middle. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to look into it more. I'm just in the preliminary stages.
Okay. Just anecdotally, Ben Creek's doing that right now, and they
Ripped up the course.
ripped up the entire golf course. So
Yeah.
they had other projects, but that was one of them.
Yeah.
So you might lose half a season in revenue.
I mean, I think what Ben Creek did was a little more in depth than what we're gonna have to do. But yeah, I mean, definitely can expect less play during some of that time, the main time.
I also don't know if they can do it over the winter to lessen that or if you just get put in line with whenever they can do it.
Okay, well, it sounds like a pretty substantial capital project that we need more information on and certainly, you know, need some good information on the process. Okay. Goals and objectives for the golf course. We haven't done anything on that yet, have we? I don't think so. No. Okay. All right, let's move on to new business. Any new business tonight? Okay, hearing no new business. We have anyone on Zoom
No.
wants to make a comment? Again, hearing none, we'll move on. Minutes of the previous meeting, February 26, 25. Anyone have any edits? Pretty comprehensive report, I'd say. Hearing none, I'll hear a motion to approve the February 26th minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Motion from Mr.
Lundy.
Lundy. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Douglas. Mr. Rhodes, I should say. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Okay. Anything else for the good of the order tonight, guys? All right. With that, we'll adjourn the meeting at 7:45.
Thank you.